Hello and welcome to BISP Solutions. Today we will see some advanced features of FCCs, under which we will see metadata analysis. In FCCs, metadata analysis is also known as metadata validation. So when we input the metadata, or when we put in the metadata into the FCCs applications, we have some member properties. We need to take care of such member properties. When we enter the metadata into our FCCs application, all the zero level members and the parent members have some specific properties which need to be taken care of. If we do not take care of such properties, member properties, then we would be getting some errors. So today we will be discussing those errors only. Like if we provide wrong properties the members, then what messages or what error message do we get? So let's see the messages that we will get when we will import the metadata with wrong member properties. The first is primary member must exist before shared members. Now I've already imported the metadata into the FCCs application and have imported the metadata with wrong member properties, so that we can have the view the errors. Okay, so let's go to our application also and see what this first error means. This first error means that primary member must exist before the shared members. Obviously, let's go to our application. This is my FCCs application. So what I've done, I've created a shared member before the primary member. These are my dimensions. Data source. So this is my total data source, and then I have input and adjusted. So this DSUSD I've created, and for this member DSUSD I've created one shared member also, which is above. This is the primary member. Okay, so I've created one shared member for this member, primary member. So shared member should not become above the primary member. So I've created this its shared member under FCCs total eliminations. This is my shared member. So this mistake I have done. So when I will validate the metadata, it will give me the error message. That should not be happen. This is wrong. Let's go to the second error. The data storage type must be valid for all zero level members. Entity, movement, dimension. The data storage value for the zero level members for dimensions, entity and movement should be stored, never share or shared. While for dimensions like account, data source and multi-gap, and user and for custom dimensions like product, region, department, the data storage property for base level members, that is zero level members, should be stored, never share, shared or dynamic calc. So if we provide, if we have a if we add a child to the account dimension, and if we provide the zero level members as if we add a dynamic if we add a child to an entity zero level member, and then we provide the data storage property dynamic calc, it will give us the error. Our data will not get validated. Now third is only members with data storage as dynamic calc should be set to 2-pass calculations. Now firstly, let us understand what is 2-pass calculations. So 2-pass calculations are members are calculated by second pass in S-base. So this is what is meant by 2-pass calculations. And under this if we want to select this option of 2-pass calculation, we need to tick this option. Okay, under the member properties we need to tick this option. So if we want to enable this option, for that particular member, the data storage property should be dynamic calc and should not be apart from anything other than dynamic calc. Okay, now next is have zero level member should not be dynamic calc without formulas. Now what does that mean? That if we have a zero level member and we are providing the data storage property as dynamic calc, for the zero level member, then it should not go without formula. Then we need to provide some formula. If we are providing without formula, then we will be getting the validation error. So for zero level members, if you're providing dynamic calc, it should go with formula. The next we have is parent member should not have member formula. Obviously, parent has data storage property as dynamic calc. So parent member should not have member formula. Only the child zero level members having the property as storage property as dynamic calc will be with the formulas. Parent member should not have member formulas. So next property, the aggregation operator should be ignore or never if a member is a child of dimension name entity dimension. For ignore for both console and cube, console and rate cube, and if we have any dimension other than the entity dimension, then the aggregator operator for other dimension would be ignore or never for console cube and ignore for rates. So let's check in the application what we're talking about. So this is my application. This is my account. Let's take any account. So this is the account. Let's go to edit and see its property. So here we are not talking about this console and this rates for this particular error. We are talking about, let's move to some another dimension. It's consolidation, then FCCs contribution. Let's check for FCCs contribution. We'll go to edit and see its property. Now here you can see that this is the dimension other than the entity. Okay, so its console operator will be ignored and rate is not ticked only. So here we're talking about that if the aggregator operator should be ignored or never for the other dimensions for console cube and ignore for rates. So here we can see that rate has not been ticked and the console cube is selected as ignore. Let's check for another dimension, consolidation. Let's check for data source. On the data source we have total data source, FCCs total data source. Again you can see that the console has been ticked and its property it is defined as ignore, whereas rate is not ticked. This is for the other dimensions other than entity dimension for the aggregate operator. Either it will be console and it will be ignore, and for rates it will be ignore. It will not define, I mean the rates will be unticked. Rate cube. Okay, so next property we have next message that we can get when we do the validation of the metadata. Account type and aggregation operator must match. Now here what do we mean by account type and aggregation operator must match? Like for suppose if we have a revenue account, okay, and we are adding a child to this revenue account. So if we are adding a child to revenue account and it is of the similar nature as revenue, like we are adding an income 1 to revenue account, then the aggregation operator would be add. But if we are adding a child to the revenue account whose is of the like for suppose the name of the child is of the nature expense, so aggregation operator would be subtraction. So we have a set of list for this particular aggregation that need to be matched, and this aggregation is important so that the balance sheet aggregates properly. So next we have this children of parent with data storage label only must not aggregate. So by this message we mean that if if a parent has data storage property as label only, and this particular applies on the accounts, data storage, and movement dimensions. Okay, now if the parent has the data storage property as label only, and we want to create a child for that particular parent, then its console operator will be ignore or never share, because its parent has the property as label only, so it cannot add or subtract that particular child. It will be only visible to us. It cannot add or subtract, so its aggregator its console operator property will be ignore or never share, as it will not aggregate to the parent. Then last, all parent members in the multi-gap and custom dimensions should be dynamic calc or storage, data storage. This is like all the members in the multi-gap and custom dimension should be dynamic calc and data storage. So these are all the messages, validation messages that we have. Now let's go to our application. I've already, as I told you, I've already input the metadata with various errors. So let's validate our metadata, and then let's search for error and resolve those errors. This is my application. Okay, I will go to application, overview, then I will go to actions, and I will click on validate metadata. Run. So it has given me 12 errors and 1 warning. Warning is of that 2 pass calculation. We won't be getting error, we will be getting the warning for that. Okay, so these are accounts. These errors I am getting for accounts, these errors for getting for entity, and these are for data source. Okay, so let's export these errors, and let's correct these errors one by one. We have these errors over here. Okay, so let's check for the first error. The error that we are getting for the member name 19,000, that the data storage is dynamic calc. Okay, a level 0 dynamic calc account cannot be used within the balanced balance sheet. And similarly, we have the second error. So let's check this member and its properties also. We'll go to dimensions. My member name was 19,000. So let's edit. Okay, this is the parent member, and then we'll go to edit. The error is saying the data storage is dynamic calc. A level 0 dynamic calc account cannot be used within the balanced balance sheet. So this is the parent member. Okay, it has data storage as dynamic calc. What I've done is, the error that I've put in is as I've provided the member formula. As we have seen the when we were seeing the messages, or that the error messages that we get, we have seen that a parent member cannot have the member formula. Okay, so this is the error that I have created. So what we will do, we will remove this member formula, because its data storage property is dynamic calc. Okay, this is data storage is dynamic calc, so we will simply remove this member formula. We'll delete this and then click on save. Okay, so let's check for our second error. So we have resolved this error, these 2 errors. Now next error we have is the data storage is dynamic calc. A level 0 dynamic calc account cannot be used within the balance sheet. Okay, let's check this one. 5001, 3001. Now this is the base, we have it under FCCs sales 3001, that is the sales commission. Okay, and it has a data storage property of dynamic calc, right? So when we have seen in the messages that if a child has the data storage property as dynamic calc, then we should provide the formula for it, right? So let's check whether formula has been provided or not. We'll go to edit, we'll directly go to member formula and check for the formula. No formula has been provided. So this is the error that we have done. Okay, so we will correct it by providing the member formula. So as this is the sales commission, let's provide the formula for the commission. Okay, so this is, my account is 50,001, then, and the 50,000 was the account of this domestic sales, is equals to 50,000 into, let's take it 0.1 and then semicolons, and let's save this. We have provided the formula over here. Let's check it once. 5,000 is equals to 2.1. okay, what is 50,000? 50,000 is this particular account, that is the sales. We have provided the formula for sales commission. Okay, now let's check for another. This error has been resolved. And one more thing, this 50,000 has the data storage property as never share. As this is the parent member, its property should be dynamic calc and not never share. So we will change this data storage property dynamic calc. This is never share. Under member formula also we will change never share to dynamic calc. Then we will click on save. Okay, so this is done. The next error we have is of this entity. So we'll go select the entity dimension. Okay, so we have entity S100. Let's see the error. So our error is the data storage should be never share, shared, store, or for level 0. Let's check for this particular entity what error we have done. Okay, so we can see that its data storage property is dynamic calc. For the entity, a data storage property is always never share. So we will change its property never share. And next it says the console operator should be ignored. So the currently in its console operator is addition. So we will change it to ignore. And then we will save it. So all these entity errors have been completed. Now this is DSUSD. I've told you in the we have seen that DSUSD source data type should not be none. That is in for this particular error we have created a shared member for this particular member, and that shared member was above this primary member. So we need to resolve this particular error. So what we will do, we will go to our dimensions under data source. we have under total eliminations DSUSD share, and the primary member under total input and adjusted. So either ways we can do is either we can shift this DSUSD downwards, or what we can do is we can delete this member DSUSD. So it automatically shared member will get deleted. So our error will get resolved. So let's check. So our DSUSD has been deleted, and so our shared member has also got deleted. Now let's check for the last error that we have. This is also completed. Then we have cache and cache equivalents. 2-pass calculation should be with should only be used with dynamic calc storage type. So this storage type, let's go to application and then search for accounts. Let's select first accounts. Our account member was 12,001. So this is our member. Let's check its property. So it has data storage properties as never share, and 2-pass calculation is also ticked as yes. So either we can untick this 2-pass calculation or change its data storage property to dynamic calc. So let's remove this 2-pass calculation and then click on save. Or if you want that 2-pass calculation should remain, then we should change the data storage property to dynamic calc. So this error is also resolved. Now let's go to, again let's validate and check what all are we getting the same errors or not, are we getting the errors or not. Actions, validate metadata, click on run. Still we are getting 6 errors. 19,000, this all we have resolved. Still it is not giving us still it is giving us the errors. We have resolved all this. This current assets 19,000. The data storage is dynamic calc. A level 0 dynamic calc cannot be used for the balance sheet. Obviously, for this 19,000, it has the it was a parent member with dynamic calc as the data storage property. So we have deleted the member formula. Right, 5,000 also we did. Now it is giving us the error for 5,000. The 5,000 member, it is a parent member, but I provided the data storage property is never share. It should be dynamic calc. So all these errors have been resolved, but still the system is not taking. It is giving us the error. Let's refresh the queue, refresh the database, sorry, and let's check. Okay, so our cube has been refreshed successfully. Let's click on finish, close. Now again, let's validate the metadata. Run. Still it is showing the same errors. But all these errors have been resolved by us. Okay, let's check once more. If it is giving us the error, let's check it for once more whether it has been saved correctly or not. Validate metadata. Run. Then export. This is the validation file that we have. Was a previous one, and now this we have the new one. So let's check once again. Let's close this. First is the 19,000 one. So let's check a 19,000. This is 19,000. Now, yes, its property is dynamic calc. We have deleted the member formula, right? Yes, member formula is not there, so it is correct. Okay, so next is, this was the only error we have in this particular account, 19,000. Then let's 50,000. The data storage is dynamic calc. A level is dynamic calc account cannot be used within the balanced balance sheet. Okay, let's check for this particular one. Okay, so this is the parent account, as we know. Firstly, its data storage property was never share, so I've changed it to dynamic calc. Here also I've changed. Yes, this is also correct. Rest all the properties are correct. Okay, so this is also resolved. Then 5001, we have provided the formula. Sales commission. As we have seen that this is the child member, and it having the data storage property as dynamic calc, so we have provided the member formula for the same. We have provided the member formula also, and this is correct. We have validated the let's validate the this formula also, so this is also correct. Let's click on save, and let's again refresh the database. I think all the errors are, yeah. Database has been refreshed. Now let's again go to validation and check. No, it is again and again showing that same errors. So our data has been validated, but there is something wrong with the application, because it is again and again as showing the same errors that we have already resolved. So these errors are already resolved. So this is, but I hope you have got the concept of how if we if we get some errors while validating the metadata, what all could be the possible reasons for those errors, and we can also resolve those errors. This is for today. Thank you. For any queries, please reach out us at www.bispsolutions.com.